All righty. Good morning. Steve Weber here. I was talking for 3 minutes and I didn't hit the live button. So, go live. I didn't hit the go live button. And consequently, that 3-minute brilliant introduction to the show is lost forever. Only I got to hear it with my ears. So anyway, good morning. I'm Steve Weber, host of the American Gumption Morning Show. A few minutes late because even though I thought I started on time, I forgot to hit the go live button. Here we are. Today is show number 58. It's Tuesday, October 27th, and we have an abbreviated show for you today. I do not have a guest coming on, although I have Brandon Schaefer coming up in just a minute, doing his Simple Motivation Tuesdays, and so he'll be joining us. But that'll just be a short little segment, and then I'm going to go into my monologue segment, and then we'll wrap up today's show. So probably somewhere around the bottom of the hour is when we'll finish this broadcast. So it'll be a shorter show. So Spirituality Gone Wild is the topic of my monologue today. And of course, Spirituality Gone Wild is there they are, right there. Spirituality Gone Wild is my broadcast partner that brought me on almost 3 months ago, 58 shows ago. And I've been, connected with them. So what I'm going to do in my monologue is I'm going to talk about why I originally joined Spirituality Gone Wild 3 months ago and what I was thinking when I joined, and then where we are today and where Spirituality Gone Wild is going. It's a pretty exciting story, and so I want to just share that with you. And then we'll get Debbie G to come on and join us in the next week or two, hopefully, and she can kind of give her update version of all of this. So anyway, exciting things on the horizon as far as Spirituality Gone Wild goes. So that'll be my monologue today. Now, let me share with you what is going to happen in the next couple of days. We have guests scheduled the rest of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So tomorrow, Wednesday, is Tamara Fleming, and she is the creator of Meaning of Space. And her vision is that your space and your environment can affect and can actually help you create the future that you want. And we'll talk specifically about the virtual background. We're all on Zoom calls these days. And so what the background that you have that people see, tells a story about, who you are. We get onto a call and we look and, we're looking at and we're making judgments about that person. We're forming impressions. We're getting an idea of who they are. We're looking around, what's in the back of their house? What's their house look like? So anyway, we'll talk about your virtual background and how that can help create the future that you want. Tamara and I will do that tomorrow. That's going to be a fun segment. Tamara has helped me with my background. So we'll get into that. Thursday, Reverend Wynn Henderson, MD, spiritual cure for addiction. He has been working for 30 plus years in helping people overcome multiple different types of addictions. So that will be on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm bringing back Brian Gregory, Admanity. He was here last Friday, and we're going to do a deep dive into the results that I received from the Admanity protocol. And, you'll get an idea of what that really looks like. So anyway, that's coming up, on Friday. So that's the rest of this week. Alrighty. Now I see Brandon has showed up into the green room. Looks like he's ready. So let's play his introduction and then we'll bring him on live in just 30 seconds from now. Brandon Schaefer, good morning. Welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show.
Hello, Steve Weber. Mr. Steve Weber. Yes, indeed. How are you?
Really good. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, man. It's great to see you smiling. It's great to see you all tuned up and fired up. I've also seen that you switched around your background a little bit, which is exciting.
Yes, and Tamara's going to, it was funny because a week and a half ago, she came on, we just had a Zoom call and she says, hey, do you want some coaching on your background? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I gotta, do you want me to hold the mirror up and see what everybody's looking at? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And so anyway, she did it. And so next thing you know, I'm taking things down. I'm rearranging things. I had the basics there. It was a pretty good backdrop, but she said, let's get rid of a couple things. Let's add a few things. And so anyway, we'll explain all that tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I need to talk to her as well because I constantly jump around and everything else like that. But I always try to get good light, good sound. I try my best, and it is what it is, man. I'm going to make the best of it no matter what. So
you're doing great. What do you have for us, my friend? What do you want to talk about this week?
Oh, today, man. Well, I'm going to talk about this later on tonight as well, but I'm talking about getting into gear, right? So we all get put into neutral every once in a while. And I know it's so difficult to climb out of neutral. And in fact, if you're going up a hill and you get knocked into neutral, I'm sure everyone's been driving a car, you start to go backwards, man. And it's tough to get the momentum going forward again. But there are two things that I do to get myself into gear, and you can do them as well. Like everything that I share, it's simple, it's easy to implement. The toughest thing to do is actually do it. So commit to yourself as soon as you get off of here to actually do it. The first thing is have a short-term target, right? Short-term target is daily target from when you wake up in the morning until the time you go to bed. Have a specific measurable target and attainable target you can hit. On top of that, phase 2 is having long-term targets. Those are long-term goals. Those are things I want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, but I know that we're not flying right now, so I'm not able to do that.
Whoops. Oh, there he is.
Back. I'm still here. So what I was saying with Mount Kilimanjaro, if I want to climb it, we're not traveling right now, but we're not flying right now, and I'm not trained enough right now. So what we need to do is have those long-term targets. And it doesn't mean that just because I'm not able to climb that mountain today, doesn't mean that I can do the push-ups, the sit-ups, the aerobics, the actual workouts to prepare. So focus on those short-term goals, those daily targets, and focus on those long-term goals that you want to reach, those long-term, big targets. So that's all I have for you today, Steve. Sorry I got knocked out there for a second, but I am back live and well. I'm excited. And I love that Brian that was on the other day from Admanity. Yep. That dude's got some serious knowledge, man. So anybody that's watching this, definitely tune back in. I'm going to tune back in there and watch again. And I love all the guests you have on. They're right up my alley. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much. Can you? I want to play your closing segment, but do you have an extra minute to just stick around and we talk about tonight's episode after that? What you're doing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's play the segment. Yeah. We'll finish this up, and then we'll bring you back for just a few more minutes.
Cool.
All righty, that was Brandon Schaefer's simple.
Oh, I can't hear you, Stevie.
Oh, simple motivation. You hearing me now? Brian, let's see. Whoops, we got a little bit of a loose connection with Brandon. He's jumping in and out. Hopefully, he'll be back and joining us. I think I'm broadcasting live.
You are.
Okay, good. Well, good. Anyway, he's disappearing. He's coming in and out here. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, we have Natalie Coleman, who checks in from across the pond. Natalie's been a 3-time guest on the show, and she says hello to Brandon and I. So great to see you, Natalie. I think we got another segment coming up with you in a couple of weeks. So my calendar's not right in front of me, but we'll bring Natalie back from the lightness, from the dark into the light. That's her story, and we love that. All righty. Oh, now we have Brandon rejoining us. Let's see if I can add him back in here. Are you there, Brandon?
I am here. I don't know what in the world
is. Your kids must be using the home.
But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to give up. I'm not.
Your
I'm not
kids
gonna
must be doing the homeschooling thing. They're logged in. They're downloading papers. It's, your Wi-Fi is maxed out over there at the Schaefer household.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. I think I may be downloading too much stuff up here, and that's part of the problem. But listen, I just want to get on real quick. Tonight, anybody who wants to join me, 9 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to talk about the same stuff. I'm going to give some actionable tips this evening. Here's the link to the show. Steve has it up there. No, that's not my car. I don't drive a Ferrari. I drive a Mercedes. But and it definitely doesn't look like that. I fit kids in my car because I have 3 kids, so it doesn't fit my style right now. But yeah, I'm just going to give some actionable tips and have some fun. So that's really it. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to give a quick mention, Steve.
And at the end of your segment each week, I always do a little mention of simple business help, and I'll just describe what I normally say, and then you can add 1 or 2 things afterwards. But basically, Brandon helps businesses with their technology. We all have email, we all have files, we all have calendars, and getting those different pieces of technology to work together and communicate together so that all of your salespeople can be on the same page. And so you, as the leader of the business, can have reports that actually mean something with meaningful data. That's the kind of work that Brandon and his team at Simple Business Help provide you. Go check that out. What else can you say about Simple Business Help, Brandon?
Actually, I'm not able to say it any better than what you said it. And that reminds me, I love the intro for your guest. When Brian came on, what was the name of that song? Okay, I was wondering, what's the song that you play for the first time the guests come on?
The Washington Post March.
Yeah. I was dancing around my house listening to that. My wife's like, "What's the matter with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is my buddy Steve. It's his first time guest." So, and listen, if you're a first time guest on Steve's show, you get a special song played. It only happens one time, from what I understand. It's the first time that you're on.
That's right.
I love that. I love that. So, all right, Steve, I'll talk to you, man.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Have a great week, Brandon.
Have a great day. All right,
okay,
bye.
Yeah, bye. All righty. There's Brandon helping out. We love that he just shows up week after week and gives us that kind of little jolt of energy that we need to get us going. And we'll throw this back one more time. I'm going to I'll do just one more little commercial for him because he's so helpful. Here's the link to what he's doing tonight, but basically, and I'll have that in the show notes. But basically, if you get in gear, he's going to it's going to be like a little more like a small group setting. He'll help you get fired up and get going. It says get in gear. If you feel like you're stuck, if you're in neutral and just not sure what the next move you should be making is, join in. 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern time. All righty, very good. That's it. Now let's shift gears here. Let's get into today's monologue. And I want to talk about my broadcast partner, SpiritualityGoneWild, and what they're up to. But first, I'm going to just kind of give you a little backstory and tell you why I joined them 3 months ago. It was July 7th when I first met Debbie G. And then within about 3 or 4 days, like we were talking about me doing a show with them. And within 1 week of meeting her, I had agreed that I was going to do the show, and I was going to start in about 2.5 weeks from it. So from the time that I initially met Debbie, it was just 1 day shy of 4 weeks from the day that we met until when I did my first broadcast, and the day was show number 58, or the day is show number 58. So why did I originally join? Well, the first thing, and there's 4 areas I'm going to talk about why I joined. The woo factor. So I've been in my own personal journey of consciousness, awakening, awareness, kind of being in a spiritual awareness or development. And so I've been hanging out in places where these people who talk about spirituality like to go. I find that rewarding and a good thing for me personally. So this starts again way back in 2009, my journey. But over the years I did. Now, funny thing was I ended up joining the NSA, the National Speakers Association. And so, I was trying to really get my speaking business going. And what I discovered was that, the NSA is very much a, like an action oriented and a content oriented thing, and wasn't so much on the spiritual side. There were people who were involved that were in that. But anyway, over the years, I ended up drifting away from the NSA, which I kind of thought was the National Speakers Association, more of a head-based organization, a thinking thing. And that was perfect for who I was and what I, needed at that time. But then I ended up going and shifting into, more of that spiritual realm, and the Hay House Books is my classic example. Hay House Publishing, if you know who those people are that publish their books with it, those are the people that I was aligning myself with. So when I met Spirituality Gone Wild, I met Debbie G. I looked at the people that were broadcasting and I went, wow, that's, and I'll call it the woo-woo or the wow factor, and the woo-woo. And, it's like, it relates to me. So that was the first thing that I thought, hey, this is kind of cool. I like these people. They feel like my people. And then, of course, Debbie G, the founder, I had an instant connection with her. We just sort of, it was just easy to talk to her. We just kind of, started the conversation and boom, we're talking about it. We're talking about kind of the same things. I'm learning about what she's been doing for the last 3 years since she started Spirituality Gone Wild. And then, and what her vision was. And she really is a visionary. She's telling me lots of different things that they're planning to do. And they were just about to celebrate their 3rd year. And so they had been around a while. They were kind of a new kid on the block, so to speak. And yet they weren't like, a month old. They were 3 years old. So, and several of the hosts had been with them for, several years, 2, 3 years. And then there was a handful of the hosts that were, more recent, had joined just in the past few months. Alrighty. So that was like, the whole Debbie G and her credibility, and her, her enthusiasm for it. And so then the next thing, so number one was the woo factor, the woo-woo, and then Debbie G. Number 3 is that it was an easy start for me. It's kind of a self-serving reason, but it was just easy to join up with them. They had a system, they had a program going, and I was able to basically start with a blank piece of paper. Debbie said, just tell me what you want to do as far as your show goes. And so I described what I was looking to do. And she was like, that sounds great. Actually, that's not something that we're doing right now. We don't have anybody doing exactly that. That would be wonderful if you did that. And I remember feeling a little self-conscious about it, thinking, gee, the other hosts are doing it a little differently than me. And she said, hey, it's Spirituality Gone Wild. You can do whatever you want here. And so anyway, I'm sure you can't do whatever you want, but that's what she said to me. And since I had, taken the blank piece of paper and wrote down exactly what I wanted to do and, shared it with her, she was like, hey, great. So that was happening. So it was an easy way to get started. But it was also accountability. I knew that if I was trying to do this on my own, and I had been thinking that I would just, I was the original vision of American Gumption was that I would be traveling around the country in an RV and interviewing people in person. And that's still going to happen. That's kind of now that's like the next phase, and that's coming up. But in the meantime, I need to start. I need to, I can do this virtually. And of course, this is the year of virtual. COVID hit 2020, and it's like, okay, let's get started. So it was an easy way for me to join in. Now, but again, it was accountability. If I was going to do that on my own, and I had been thinking about doing it on my own, it's different if you're part of a group and you're, you'll have to hold yourself to a little bit higher standard. If you're just part of yourself, you can sort of slack off a day. But there's no slacking off when you're involved with Spirituality Gone Wild. All righty. And then it was also a credibility. It made me feel a little more confident that I was joining an organization. So I wasn't just doing it on my own without any help. So the fact that I was able to put the Spirituality Gone Wild logo right up in the corner, it gave me more confidence as I logged on and aired my first week of shows. And really, I like it ever since then, too. They had a system, StreamYard, this broadcast platform that we use, and I had heard of it, but I hadn't used it. And so the fact that they provided me some training and showed me how to use it, and it was like, oh, okay, and I could see how other people were using it. It was an easy way to just sort of fall in and use their system. Of course, you still have to hit the go live button at the beginning of each show, and every once in a while, like this morning, I forgot that. So it's not a perfect, or the operator isn't perfect yet, but he's working at it. And then finally, as far as the easy start, there were the other host, and I had a lot of the first week. I had guests. All the other, not all, but I had several of the hosts come on and join us. And yesterday we had Radiance Tyler and her husband Steve on the show. And Radiance does a show on Sunday evenings, a musical kind of a rock and roll music program. Although it's all over the board in terms of what she does too. Kind of like this show. We like that about Radiance. All righty. So anyway, the other host being part of a team, that was cool. So it was easy. And then finally, I was ready. I mean, I was ready to go. I had, I've been planning the American Gumption project for almost a year for a full year. And it was and I had, gotten rid of Montana and cleaned all that up, and, was ready to be able to move around. And then of course, here I am back on the East Coast, but I was ready to go. I felt like I had the tools in place, and the 10 years prior, the speaking Gump, the life lessons from the movie, the 3 principles of Gumption, all of that foundation stuff was in place. And so I was ready to go. And then I wanted to start virtually, and I could. So Spirituality Gone Wild just magically appeared in front of me. And that's really kind of also in alignment with the woo factor, where, hey, things, if we put our intention out there, the law of attraction, we decide what we want, and then we allow it to show up. And so when Spirituality and Debbie and I just connected, I took it as a sign that, oh, this is meant to be. And of course, you do a little bit of due diligence, but I didn't do a lot. Within a week, I decided, hey, I'm going to join. Again, I was ready. I had a good feeling. I had good trust, and just felt like the right thing to do. And here we are 3 months later. So very happy with that decision that I made 3 months ago. Again, today's show number 58. So we're rolling along. We're gaining momentum. And but I want to do is now just share a little bit about where we're going, because there's actually some fun things happening behind the scenes. And actually, they're starting to not just be behind the scenes, but they're coming out in the front. So some of the things are actually happening that I'm going to describe, and some of them are planned and are kind of in the works. And so I won't try to differentiate too much about, where everything is, other than just lay out a big picture and tell you where Spirituality Gone Wild is going. Alrighty. So the first thing is that they are expanding and they're growing, and they're doing it in 2 different ways. They have host, and then they have affiliations with other, we'll call them partner organizations. So the spiritual community is huge. There's all kinds of people out there who are creating their own little, their own little brands, just like American Gumption is a brand. There's people who are coaches, and they have a following, and you can make a nice living these days. You get a X number of people you don't need thousands and thousands of people, but you do need, a few hundred. And you can then have a nice little business, and you can be a coach, and you can interact with people on a regular basis, and you can inspire and help people in their journey along the way. So there are organizations that are attempting to kind of bring these individual operators, think American Gumption as an individual operator, and bring those together and form alliances and communities, so that the community has a whole bunch of American Gumptions, a whole bunch of different people who are teaching and sharing some type of message. And by putting them together, there becomes options. So for the visitor and for the viewer coming in and being part of the community, well, you can watch the American Gumption show, you can watch Debbie G's show, you can watch, and of course, these are all broadcast they're for free. But the idea is creating this membership site, and it'll offer more, and it'll be it'll be a nicer way to view the content and to be part of it, and you'll end up with extra things. So this membership site, what kind of extra things will you have? So the first thing is that the different hosts, like myself, and I'll just use myself as the example, we'll be creating content. And the first thing is there'll be a 5-day course. And so in my case, I'm planning to talk about what are the main life lessons from the movie. And, there'll be some 5 days that you go through, and you get these different examples of what the main life lessons from the movie are. Then there'll be a 21-day course, and that would be something that you could opt into, choose to also, it won't be part of necessarily the membership, monthly membership, but it'll be part of, an offering that's there. And so then it's a 21-day, and then, you kind of do an expanded version of that. And then there's an 8-week. Now, most of the hosts on Spirituality Gone Wild are people who are coaches and, trainers that way. And so I don't quite fit that model. So, exactly what I end up producing and how I produce it is still to be determined, but this is forthcoming. But now imagine me, but there's I didn't mention this yet, but let me do it. There were 10 hosts when I joined 3 months ago. And the other day last week at our team meeting, there were 17 hosts. So there has been 7 people that have joined Spirituality Gone Wild after me who are now going to be hosts. So this is where I was saying it's growing. The community is growing. So, and one of those hosts will be doing a 5-day-a-week show. His show starts in November, beginning of November. And, but the other host, mostly they're doing like the 1 day a week. So it's like a lot of people are catching on to Spirituality Gone Wild and going, oh, great. Now imagine all 17 of them having, content that's included in the member site. You can learn about these people. And then if you want to, you can go and do a deeper dive with the particular, person. And again, people don't have time to watch all the shows. I get that. People can't watch all of my shows, but you can, if it's all organized in a way that, is easy to consume, then this is where it becomes value and there becomes crossover. So people who wouldn't even know about who I am, but become a member because they like one of the other hosts, will be able to be, see the type of content that I'm creating on a regular basis and vice versa. So this is the vision. This is where Debbie sees it going. She is the one leading the charge. I always say to her, you're the one charging up the hill and you're out in front with your bayonet charging up the hill. And I am, I can cover your flank, but I'm working on my morning show. I can't be the one out front because that's her job. That's the job she's taken on. She created this network and she is doing a fine job creating a vision and leading the charge up the hill. Alrighty. But then there's other affiliate organizations. And so Spirituality Gone Wild is one group. Now imagine other groups like Spirituality Gone Wild. Debbie has expanded her influence and connected with these other organizations. And some of these other organizations are now really deciding to partner with Spirituality Gone Wild. So the community becomes even bigger and bigger. And, Peace 2030 would definitely be one of those. The Sign Network, Unify. These are all organizations that have large communities, but they don't have exactly what Spirituality Gone Wild offers, and vice versa. And so partnering and figuring out how to help each other is what Debbie has been working on behind the scenes. And I'm not going to say more about that today. I'll let Debbie come on and explain that because I don't know all the details, frankly. So I'm not going to make stuff up and say what I think it all means because I'm not 100% sure, but Debbie will join us here in the next week or 2 or 3. And, we'll let her fully kind of lay this out. But enough of it's now public that I feel like I can share what I'm sharing with you. So I mentioned the courses. There will also be opportunities for advertisers and sponsors. Now, each individual show can bring its own sponsors and advertisers in, but then some of these advertisers or sponsors may want to participate in other shows. And so again, the network makes it easier for people to, if you have you have something that is interesting and valuable to the community, then you can join as either an advertiser or a sponsor and share it in the different directions. And of course, then that helps everybody. Let's see what else. Workshops and events. Kind of special things like workshops. Those would be things that would happen, maybe 3 or 4 or 8-week session or some kind of a, some kind of a like schedule for a topic. And those would be offered to the community at large. And then also events, kind of a one-time deal that happen. But again, this community of people care about it and would be interested. They can't do everything, but it's great if you have lots of options and choices, right? We like options and choices. A store. So imagine a t-shirts being available with American Gumption right on your t-shirt or other types of branded products. And so the different brands, the different hosts who have their own version of American Gumption, they'll all be able to create products and sell them there, as part of the Spirituality Gone Wild membership. And then there could be affiliate. I mentioned affiliates in terms of these other organizations, kind of big picture, but then there could be affiliates where it's just like little products that that people have used and recommend, and rather than doing the traditional marketing or the traditional advertising, you have an affiliate link. So you make a recommendation and you pay the same price whether you buy it from the affiliate link or whether you buy it directly from the company. So if we share our knowledge, then that's another way to help these organizations or these companies that have special products, and of course to help us, to support us and help us all grow. So that's I don't know if I did a good job or not, but I wanted to just share with you that Spirituality Gone Wild is not just like sitting around resting on its laurels. It's 3 years old and it's growing. And the goal is to be one of the bigger spiritual communities with quality content broadcasting on a regular basis. And then a community of people with a lot of resources that are all part of that community. And that, will be offered through a membership site. Alrighty, so that's it. I think that's all I really wanted to talk about today. I joined 3 months ago because it was because my instinct, because spirit brought me to it and it showed up and I was ready and I trusted and I just felt good, but I didn't have a whole lot of details. I really went with trust. I really went with, let's just go see how this works. It feels good. I'm ready. And let's just try it. That was really my attitude at the time. And then over the next couple of months, I'm watching Debbie work behind the scenes. I haven't really talked about this, what I shared today. This is the first time I'm sharing this publicly, but I've been watching this behind the scenes. And I was like, kind of a hands-off approach where I went, oh my gosh, I can't get involved in that. I can't take my eye off the ball, the ping pong ball, right? I can't take my eye off the ball. And my ball was the American Gumption morning show, and making sure that I ended up, filling up my calendar with regular guests and bringing people on and getting the systems to, make that work and function on a regular basis. So anyway, when I was watching that, I'd like watch it and I'd be interested and I'd say, oh man, what Debbie's doing is cool. And then I go, okay, Steve, chill out, take a moment. You just keep your eye on the ball, do what you're doing. Let Debbie do what Debbie's doing. And anyway, that's what's happened. And so here we are today. So that's it. I think I'm going to wrap up. Look at that, 10:38. So I even talked longer than I thought I would, but that's okay. I don't ever have trouble talking and filling in some details. Let's just throw up the Spirituality Gone Wild, my broadcast partner, proud to be part of the Spirituality Gone Wild team and the growing team. And, so here we go. Alrighty. Now that's it. Tomorrow we have Tamara Fleming, and meaningofspace.com is her business, but we're going to talk about your virtual background, your backdrop, and what it's telling about the people who are watching or the people you're communicating with, and what it's telling you, because I'm like seeing that backdrop, as I do these broadcasts every day. On Thursday, Reverend Wynn Henderson, MD, Spiritual Cure for Addiction, and he'll be joining us. He's been working in the field of recovery for 30 years. And on Friday, Brian Gregory will come back. Admanity Protocol, a deep dive. Last Friday, we introduced and we kind of laid out who Brian was and how he got to where he was. But this Friday, we'll do a deep dive into the actual Admanity Protocol, what it is that, when you take that test, and who your buyer is, and what your product is, and then you take the Admanity Protocol, you get a full blown report, and it basically gives you language and ideas, very specific ideas on how to communicate with your target audience, so that they will be attracted to you, and it's from an advertising perspective, right? A promotional, but advertising in this day and age could be what we talk about on our broadcast, or what we write in our emails, or what we post on social media. All righty, so that is it. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow with Tamara Fleming for the virtual backdrop. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.